I'm going to milk this till the end of time. You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm going to go, slave owner! Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them? And it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, you know, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart, but captured.
Sure, I think she came into it with an agenda.
Of course.
You know.
They do everything with an agenda.
Yeah.
You know.
Greg Gutfeld and Joe Rogan saw what everyone else completely missed. While the rest of the world was busy admiring Sunny Hostin's polished TV persona, these two pulled back the curtain, and what they found was devastating. Nobody handed Rogan a script. Nobody briefed Gutfeld on talking points. Together, they took her carefully constructed image and turned it into a punchline. One brought the humor, the other brought the receipts. And just like that, Sunny's forecast shifted from bright to a full-blown storm with nowhere to hide.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
and at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from...
If being wrong were an Olympic sport, Sunny Hostin would have a wall full of gold medals. She has a remarkable, almost supernatural ability to find the most incorrect take in any situation and defend it like her life depends on it. If Forbes handed out awards for unearned confidence, she would be on the cover every single year. The truly jaw-dropping part, she managed to say the least while screaming the loudest in a room full of economists, historians, and everyday people with basic common sense. That is when Rogan and Gutfeld stepped in. One look was all it took, and honestly, that one look said everything.
Saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days.
Yeah, is that annoying?
No.
No?
No, I mean, it's just, when I was on there, I really had no idea how it was going to land with the audience. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
If you are enjoying this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe. You do not want to miss this. Joe Rogan has sat across from neuroscientists, conspiracy theorists, and everyone in between without ever losing his composure. But Sunny Hostin, she genuinely stunned him. The idea that someone could build an entire career out of being consistently and spectacularly wrong left him speechless. Hostin speaks in moral absolutes as though she is perched on a mountaintop handing down commandments to the ordinary people below. Greg Gutfeld, on the other hand, was practically thrilled. Her hypocrisy was not a problem to him. It was a gift, and he unwrapped it slowly, deliberately, and with enormous satisfaction.
I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
Fact of life. Interesting change of tune. For more, we go to our chief Sunny Hostin correspondent for a reaction.
Problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with the, what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's just, it's a bizarre show.
Picture this. A TV host trapped in a loop where screaming at people and accusing everyone of wrongdoing passes as activism. A world where smugness is treated as a virtue and personal accountability is practically illegal. Dare to disagree with her logic? Congratulations, you are now a sexist, a bigot, or a secret agent of some shadowy hate machine. Her entire mission seems to be transforming every panel discussion into a theatrical explosion of self-righteous fury. As Joe Rogan stated on live national television, this was weaponized narcissism dressed up as social commentary. She painted middle-class Americans as hidden oppressors. She implied that eating at Applebee's was somehow morally questionable. She even suggested that rural Americans should not be voting unless they could casually drop the word bourgeoisie into conversation. All right, when Rogan simply held up a mirror, Sunny flinched like she had just been served a subpoena she never saw coming.
Oh, I'm going to milk this till the end of time. You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm going to go, slave owner! Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them? And it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
Gutfeld did not just bring a mirror. He brought a flashlight, a megaphone, and a full demolition crew. Peeling back Sunny's layers was like peeling an onion made entirely of recycled outrage, each layer more hollow than the last. Her criticism is loud, incoherent, and almost impressively inaccurate. She claims to speak for the voiceless from a primetime television platform. She labels colleagues as extremists. She performs victimhood like it is a competitive event with judges and a scoreboard. Rogan let her own words do the damage. Slow, quiet, and absolutely lethal. Meanwhile, Gutfeld dismantled her arguments piece by piece, highlighting her finest moments of accidental comedy, including the time she used her platform to declare that certain opinions should not be allowed airtime. That is the equivalent of denouncing junk food while holding a cheeseburger in each hand.
She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable. Hey, I'm an but at least I tip. This dame probably virtue signals on the toilet. But that's not the point here. While everybody else was trying to figure out how to survive as the government told us that breathing in public could kill us, Sunny was lolling around in her big house clicking on pictures of arugula while mixing Cocoa Puffs into her Haagen-Dazs. Oh, the oppression. I wonder if she wiped down the groceries herself or had her maid do it.
Gutfeld served this roast brisket style, slow searing and absolutely merciless. Sunny operates like a broken GPS. She turns every minor inconvenience into a 5-alarm crisis, and she is never, ever wrong, even when she is insisting that basic math simply does not add up. If feelings count as math, then 2 + 2 = my truth, Gutfeld said, barely containing his laughter. Rogan, meanwhile, repeated her arguments back to her with the calm patience of someone explaining rocket science to a houseplant. Gutfeld mocked her extraordinary talent for turning anything school lunches, weather patterns, casual conversation into a complete chaos. It is less like debating and more like handing someone a blender and watching them try to defuse a bomb with it.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
And then there is the classic Hostin humblebrag. She lectures the entire country about inequality and hardship while casually mentioning her Ivy League degree, her vacation home, and her personalized oat milk latte order. She posts about struggle from what might as well be a yacht, and through all of it, she insists she is just like everyone else. Gutfeld transformed this glaring contradiction into a full Broadway production, the privileged profits of Sunny running indefinitely with sold-out shows. Rogan compared her moral declarations to a fortune cookie, vague, self-important, and completely stripped of nuance. Gutfeld pointed out that she regularly attacks others for poor research while having once misquoted scripture live on air. Her moral superiority, Rogan noted, is so immense that NASA could probably track it from orbit. Boy. And if anyone dares to push back, she immediately cries foul, accuses them of ignorance, and rewrites the rules mid-game without
She took the
thinking.
news. Roll it.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact.
Rogan put it plainly. Arguing with her is exhausting, pointless, and unavoidably messy, like attempting to teach a cat to juggle. Gutfeld crowned her the human fire alarm, the kind that only goes off when logic walks into the room. In her world, every disagreement is a personal attack. Every joke is an act of aggression, and every dinner conversation would require a licensed therapist on standby. Novels would need emotional warning labels. Podcasts would be banned entirely. She has even argued that biology itself needs to be re-evaluated to better accommodate feelings. Gutfeld's response, that is like eating crayons and then blaming the menu. She genuinely believes that posting an emotional tweet is sufficient grounds to disprove science. And if you ask for evidence, she will accuse you of tone policing without hesitation. And Gutfeld joked that her upcoming memoir would be titled Being Gaslit, written entirely in capital letters. Naturally. Rogan's conclusion was clear. She is not interested in dialogue. She is holding people ideologically hostage. Question her, you are evil. Disagree, you are done. Her legacy will not be wisdom or insight. It will be the unintentional comedy she left behind. With 2 microphones, 1 Fox coffee mug, and 0 rebuttals, Rogan and Gutfeld held up the mirror, and it shattered her entire narrative completely. She swings a sledgehammer of arrogance while complaining loudly about everyone else's tone. She has somehow managed to make being right feel condescending. Gutfeld said it best. Her theories cannot survive even a single moment of genuine scrutiny. The second you look closely, they simply vanish into thin air. When this was not a personal attack, it was a structural demolition, like dismantling a reputation built entirely on outrage and recycled catchphrases. They did not end her with spectacle. They ended her with clarity, and that was so much worse than anything louder ever could have been. And here's the part nobody talks about. Sunny Hostin did not lose because someone outscreamed her. She did not lose because someone arrived armed with a better insult or a sharper comeback. She lost because 2 men did something she had spent her entire career making sure nobody would ever do to her. They stayed calm, they stayed focused, and they refused, completely and without apology, not to play her game. That is what made it so utterly devastating. Oh, because here is the truth about people who build their entire identity around outrage. They become completely powerless the moment the outrage stops working. The whole system depends on everyone around them either fighting back or backing down. Push too hard and you become the villain in her story. Walk away and she declares herself the winner. It is a trap designed to be inescapable, but Rogan and Gutfeld found the third option. They just stood there, smiled, and let her talk. And that was the end of her. Every word she said became evidence. Every dramatic declaration became a punchline. Every moral lecture delivered from her very expensive, very comfortable, very unpersecuted life became another brick pulled from the foundation she had spent years carefully building. It did not explode in one dramatic moment. It just sank, slowly, added quietly and with no possibility of recovery. Together, without raising their voices or throwing a single punch, they did what years of public debate had completely failed to do. They made her look small, not defeated in some grand showdown, just small. Small in the way people look when the performance they have been rehearsing for years finally stops matching the reality everyone else can plainly see. Small in the way a very loud argument sounds the moment you realize it was never really about truth. It was always just about volume. That is Sunny Hostin's real legacy, not the causes she claimed to champion, not the moral high ground she planted her flag on every single morning before the cameras rolled. Her legacy is the gap, the enormous, undeniable, embarrassing gap between who she told the world she was and who two men with microphones and zero patience for nonsense proved she actually is. And that gap, nobody, not now, not ever, can spin their way out of that.